What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. Noah Hiles here in St. Louis. Series is over. Still waiting for my flight to get going here. So I figured, why not knock out a mailbag before I head back to Pittsburgh? It's Thursday. We do these mailbags every week where I take your questions about the Pirates, answer them to the best of my abilities. And as always, as it's always been this season, particularly, a lot to talk about. So we've got some questions. We're going to go ahead and dive in now. You can also read my answers to these questions at post-gazette.com. First question comes from Jason. He asks, are there any indicators within the organization that Bob has been feeling the pressure to sell the team? The billboards, fans chanting during home games, every single Pirates media post, even chants during McAfee's big night at and in a random golf tournament. And he continues on just making points about why Nutting might want to sell the team. Jason, I think my answer is going to be one that you don't want to hear, but it's the same answer it's always been. No, he's not going to sell the team. I haven't heard, based off conversations I've had with anyone in the organization, that there's a newfound desire for Nutting to sell. Now, I do know that he's upset with how things have gone both on and off the field. He has not been pleased with how pretty much anything has unfolded this season, but I don't think it's led him to consider selling the team, maybe making changes. But yeah, no signs of Bob wanting to sell the team. Saul is next up. He asks, are Billy Cook and Nick Yorke Major League Baseball players or just more bad returns on trades? It's hard to call either one of them a bad return on a trade because, I mean, Cook, they traded, I believe it was Patrick Riley, who was a single A arm, one of many arms at that level the Pirates had that, I mean, he might end up being a good player. I don't know, but did the Pirates really need him specifically in this farm system? No. There were so many other guys ahead of him. And even at his level, he wasn't, the best on his team or anything. I mean, he was having a good season last year in Greensboro, but I don't know. I don't think that was a huge asset that they gave away for Billy Cook. And the same could be said about Quinn Priester. That trade for Nick Yorke, I mean, that was two identical situations. Both guys were first-round picks who really didn't have a spot on the team that drafted them at the game's highest level. So they swapped. And, I mean, Priester is already with another team. The Red Sox traded him to Milwaukee at the beginning of this season. So I don't know if they're bad returns. It's just like, I mean, they didn't give up a ton and they didn't really get a ton. I think both of them will one day be big leaguers. I don't know how long their big league careers will go. I think Yorke has the higher ceiling of the two just because of his bat. I don't think Yorke can be, as it currently looks, I don't think Nick Yorke is ever going to be an everyday starter for a playoff team. But I think he can have a, 4 or 5 year career in the big leagues, at least, just because he can be a league average hitter. And Billy Cook's going to be a guy who gets playing time in the majors because of what he can do in the field. He's a really good defensive outfielder. He could play first base well, probably learn other positions. I know the Pirates moved him around in different spots a little bit last year. So, yeah, I mean, these guys are big leaguers. We'll see them up here at some point this season. But, I mean, they're not game changers. There's not a big difference between them and a lot of other guys on the Pirates major league roster right now, or minor league AAA roster right now. I think they both have maybe a higher upside than some guys we're currently seeing play, but in the end, I mean, these aren't two players that you can really depend on to turn your franchise around. Andrew asks, the Pirates are generally pretty conservative with prospect promotions, but I don't remember anyone in the last 15-ish years performing as immediately as Konnor Griffin has. What do you think the likelihood is that they will move more aggressively and promote him through the system? I mean, well, one, I would argue that Paul Skeens was promoted pretty quickly, but I get what he's saying. I think he's talking more about position players. Yeah, I don't think Konnor Griffin's going to be a big leaguer this year, but I agree. He's killing the ball right now in low A. I don't know how much more time he has in Bradenton, quite frankly. I mean, I'm not saying I expect it to happen this week or anything, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's in Greensboro before the All-Star break. And I think that his ceiling this season is as high as AA. I don't think if that happens, I don't see him playing a ton of time there. But if you told me that Konnor Griffin were to spend the last week, 2 weeks of the minor league baseball season in Altoona, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, that's how good this kid looks. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When they drafted him, I thought this was a 4-year project in the minor leagues. I think it's now maybe a 2 to 3 year project in the minor leagues. He looks that talented. I don't think they're really trying to get him to the major leagues right now as a 18 or 19-year-old, however old he is. I know he has a birthday coming up or just had one. But yeah, I think that maybe next year we could see this kid get to the big leagues. I don't think that's completely out of the question. Now, that's an incredibly high bar, but he's looked really good. And if it doesn't happen, that's also okay. I mean, I think at worst case scenario, this kid's going to be a major leaguer at 21 if he can stay healthy, maybe 22. That's still pretty young. So Pirate fans should be excited about this kid. But at the same time, don't expect to see him in the majors this season. Sean wants to know, with the lack of offensive production, should they be looking to offset pitching talent to acquire proven major league hitting? With the surplus of pitching prospects, given the right scenario, they should be able to acquire a bat or two. Not right now, they're not going to. Not right now, they can. No one's trading a good bat off their roster in the first 10 days of May. That's just not happening. Why would you? I mean, how many teams are giving up on their season right now? Now, you could argue that maybe someone needs pitching, but who are the Pirates going to trade from their starting rotation? Are they going to trade Andrew Heaney? Does that make them a better team? I don't know. I think my overall analysis also is they're not just a couple hitters away here. I mean, they're getting Horwitz back. They're getting Gonzalez back probably by the end of this month. Both of them will be back up in the major leagues. But is that going to make them good enough to get out of a 14 games under 500 hole that they're in? No, I think that at full strength, this team is average at best, right? So with those two returning, they might start playing 500 baseball or a little bit above 500 baseball. I don't think they're going to be able to make up for their 14-game under 500 hole that they're in right now. And the hitter that they would be able to acquire in this scenario still doesn't make up for it. I mean, they're not going to be able to go out and get an Ohtani or, a Juan Soto or someone like that, like a 5-6 WAR player who can be a true difference maker. So, I mean, if they were to add anyone in to the mix here, it would be someone along the production lines of, maybe like another Andrew McCutchen type production, which sure makes this team better, but right now they're in too big of a hole to be thinking that way. They've either got to dig themselves out of this with what they have, or let it continue to get worse and start selling off assets. So, got a couple more questions left. We're going to take a quick break here from our show's presenting sponsor, which is Greenewalt Roofing.
Hey, Pittsburgh. When you think of great roofs, you think Greenewalt Roofing Company. With over 20 years experience, Greenewalt knows your roof is your home's first line of defense from rain, wind, snow, and ice. That's why Greenewalt Roofing's standard for perfection is so important. You can trust that their team of experienced installers will treat your property like it's their own. When it comes to roof replacements, Greenewalt Roofing is Pittsburgh's only choice. Visit greenewaltroofing.com today or call 412-314-8882 to schedule your free estimate. PA contractor number 36262.
Big thanks to Greenewalt Roofing. We pick up Burke asks, do you think we'll ever see Gorski, Davis, Pagarero, and York get regular starts? The season is cooked. Why not give these young guys a shot? I mean, I think the young guys will get their shot. Right now, I mean, all of the guys you just listed aren't good enough to be big league everyday players right now. I mean, Matt Gorski does not deserve to play ahead of Emmanuel Valdez, frankly. And in left field, sure, I mean, maybe you could argue he's better than Canario or Tommy Pham, but I mean, you're going to try to offload Tommy Pham at some point, so you got to get him going. And it's frustrating that that's the mentality they have to take, but they've got to pretty much transition, if not now, close to it, into seller mode. And they've got to get Tommy Pham at least better than what he's doing right now so they can offload him. And eventually, though, yeah, they're going to trade Adam Frazier. They're going to trade Tommy Pham. They're going to trade, maybe Joey Bart. Who knows? IKF at shortstop will probably be traded this deadline as well. All those guys are on the final years of their contract, aside from Bart. But if they can get something for Bart, maybe they could consider trading him too. That's not me reporting anything I'm hearing, just thinking. And that would be the way for these guys that you're mentioning to get everyday playing opportunities. But, to be fair, Pagarero has yet to show that he can even be anything more than a slightly below average hitter in AAA. Nick Yorke, same thing can be said for him. I know he had a couple of really good months in AAA last year, but this year he hasn't hit the ball well, both in spring training or in AAA. Henry Davis has been a AAA all-star, but what has he done to show that he can be a big league bat? And Matt Gorski, I know everyone's been frustrated with the lack of opportunity for him, but has he looked amazing since we've seen him up here? I don't think so. And again, I think these guys are all going to get more opportunities, but it's going to come after the deadline when all the veterans are gone. Because right now, if they were playing better baseball than the guys ahead of them, they would be playing. This team's desperate for runs, but these four names right here aren't any better than the guys that are playing ahead of them. Or if they are, they're not by much, and it just doesn't make sense. I don't think that Matt Gorski or Liover Peguero, are big pieces to this future here, frankly. Nick Yorke might be, Henry Davis might be, but they have people playing better ahead of them right now. So that's why they're going to continue to be reserve players at best. Final two questions here. These are YouTube exclusives. Thomas asks, if 2025 continues as such, do you think the Pirates will tear the whole thing down, or do they try to flip a few pitchers, maybe Keller, Bubba, Barco, etc., to find some bats? I think I don't know about the whole thing. It depends on a couple of factors here. Is Ben Cherington being told that he's going to continue running this team moving forward? Because if Ben doesn't get that assurance, if they just say, look, you're the GM until the end of the regular season, and then we'll figure it out after that, he's probably going to go one way about this. But if he knows that he's back next year, regardless of what happens, he might take a different route. I don't know what they gained this year trying to add bats. At this point, they should have. The time for that has passed, frankly. They should have done that. They should have done that more aggressively probably last year at the deadline. They should have definitely done that all offseason. But the time's passed for that. They're 14 games under 500 now. So if they're going to make any moves, it's probably offloading guys. Now, how aggressive do they get with the offloads? That's a really good question. You would think that everyone on a one-year deal would be up for grabs. Andrew Heaney, IKF, Tommy Pham, Adam Frazier, guys in the bullpen like Ryan Barucki, Caleb Ferguson, those guys would make sense. And then maybe you would consider other players who have a couple of years of control remaining, but could probably bring back some value. Maybe a team wants David Bednar or Joey Bart. That's probably the route they're going to take right now. I think at the very least, we're going to see a lot of the guys, if not all of them, on the one-year contracts offloaded, if this stays the same. Now, if by some miracle this team starts playing better and they get closer to 500, maybe that stance changes. But right now, yeah, it's going to be offloading. Now, how aggressive will they go? I don't know. If a new GM comes in, maybe he's looking to offload some higher rated assets like Keller or a Barco, who's now a top 100 prospect. But those are moves you make in the offseason. You don't make them mid-season when you're 14 games under 500. You typically go into a seller mode at that point. So I don't think either type of move will be made for another couple months when we get closer to the deadline. But, we'll see. Last question, similar topic. Can the Pirates, this comes from Drizzy, can the Pirates get anything for Key? Meaning, could Brian Hayes possibly dump some underperforming veterans and let the kids play at least since the season is lost, play the young guys, and maybe play some exciting baseball. Kind of reiterates a lot of other points. I added this one in here just for Ke'Bryan Hayes because this is an interesting one. When you look at veterans under extended control who you can offload, I mean, Hayes is one of the names that makes sense, I think. I mean, you could talk about Keller, you could talk about Reynolds maybe. I don't know, but I mean, Hayes has a contract that I think makes sense for if you're a team that has a lot of already really good established offense and you need to be better defensively, Ke'Bryan Hayes might make sense for you. I still think he needs to show that he can maintain his health throughout a season before any team's going to take serious interest in him. And I think that makes sense. But I mean, if he can remain healthy up to the trade deadline and hit, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be an above average hitter at this point in his career, but if he can hit close to a 700 OPS with his defense, sure, there might be a team interested. It's just depending on where the Pirates stand as an organization, how aggressive they're willing to dive into this seller's market this year. So that's all I got. I'm Noah Hiles. Check out all of my work at post-gazette.com and subscribe to the Post-Gazette's YouTube channel at PG Pirates. We'll have you covered every day moving forward.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.